You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Talking Red Raiders through Cougar eyes, what they've seen from afar from Tech so far.
They're opportunistic and they can hurt you in such a short amount of time, so that's always dangerous. And then you could think it's going one way, and then they could just, next thing you know, in a matter of 3 to 5 minutes, they could really take over. So that's going to be difficult because they do that pretty easily. It seems like with teams that when they play, but. I like the matchup, man. I think it's going to be great for us. We see it on film. We've been seeing it for over a week already. We saw it all last week. We've been prepping for it, and this is it's easier said than done because a lot of teams have tried to do that, and not very many teams can put them on their heels. They're a complete team. They can do a lot of different things, and they're very deep. And so you look at the talent. Not a lot of drop off from 1 to 2, and that's in every position. And then they're well coached. I mean, you look at all the things, you have to be on top of your game because they can do it in 3 phases, and they play great complementary football. And so we like to try to do the same things as well. And so there's a lot of things that we see that they do really, really well that we try to emulate ourselves. And so we're hopeful that we can get the work done, but hope is not a great strategy. We got to actually get to work and put in some time. We did it last week. Felt great about that and the progress we've made, and now I got to see if I can do my job as a head coach and make sure that we're ready to roll by the time we get there Saturday.
Chris, I don't even really know that we've mentioned it. Certainly hadn't discussed it to any great length this week, but there is an open weekend component to this matchup. Also, some extra prep time, advantage, disadvantage. I don't know. It's sort of case by case, but some of that playing out as well.
Yeah. The old first of all, I love the saying "hope is not a strategy." I use that. I file that in my back pocket all the time because we always say hope is alive or keep hope alive and all that stuff. But the old bye week that you're talking about here, I think you can play that a variety of different ways. I think that is very intriguing to me about that. That's probably not something that a lot of people have talked about. I think that the one thing it's allowed them to heal. Jack Kelly and LJ Martin and some others, I think, are probably in a better spot now than they would have been, say, a week ago if they would have had to have played after that Iowa State game. But there just is, or can be, a rust component, timing component. But, you could play this a million different ways. They've had plenty of more time to study, to learn what you do, how you do it, prepare their guy. I mean, all the stuff. But they're going to get, they're going to be in a loud environment and coming off of a bye. So I don't know. I mean, I think you could buy into whatever theory you wanted, but I think that is certainly something to monitor. But as he said, we won the bye week. For anyone that was curious, anyone that's asking, we won the bye, and that's what you want to do, right?
Yeah. I'm hoping that they come out wiping a little sleep out of their eyes and whatnot. And it's always just dependent upon, I guess, the team. And this is one that you would have to imagine could probably handle whatever pretty well. And yeah, as you're talking about getting healthier at this point in the season, man, that could be invaluable for a team, especially coming into a matchup like this that we know is going to be ultra physical. But he's certainly describing what we've seen play out. And the part that stood out to me was just talking about how Texas Tech has had a knack, and we discussed it a little bit earlier this week, specifically related to the fourth quarter, but a knack for at some point kind of hitting overdrive. And then all of a sudden it's a couple possessions between them and the opponent, and they're stretching their legs down the stretch. Would love to see that trend continue.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of like when you go on a 10 or 12-0 run in basketball. Mm-hmm. I inevitably when you do these non-conference games for Texas Tech hoops and these teams that are undermanned or undersized or whatever, they may hang for a bit, but then there's just this one point in the game where the dam breaks and you look up and it's a 17-1 run, and then the game's over at that point, and there's just no hope to come back or to hang or whatever. It's just like you missed a few shots, they ran out, they hit threes, the crowd's going nuts at the end. And this is kind of what I used to hear an analyst call it for football, like he'd call it spurtability. Like they just go on these quick spurts, and like if you put a couple of scores together, and now when you have the kind of defense that you have, if you can do that, you really squeeze an opponent, especially when you're playing a possession game or a limited possession game, and then it's like bang bang, and then you look up and go, the dynamic is completely different than it was 7 minutes ago. And we have seen this repeatedly. I mean, even in your one loss, it was only close because of your ability to do what we were just talking about. We saw it in Manhattan. We saw it in Salt Lake City. It's been pretty fascinating. The one that was weird was the Houston game. That was just kind of this steady grind, if you will, where you just kind of slowly pulled away, and you really couldn't pull away as quickly as you wanted to because you were having to settle for field goals and all that. But even at the beginning of the second half, you put a few scores up to where, okay, Houston's going to have a really hard time getting back into it because you've created some distance. And that will be big in this one. And if you can do that, BYU may have to do things that they don't want to do or have to rely on. I don't know, because I think they're really built. I mean, it gets the epitome of balance. We talked about this, 216 and 216. This is what they're offering up to you as far as the way that they get their offensive yardage done. And if you take their ability to kind of run game away, and then you get up on them, and it turns into a drop back game, and you get your pass rushers involved in all those things. I mean, I would say that certainly benefits you, but you have to have a lead to be able to do that. And BYU just figures out a way. They just kind of hang around and figure it out, and they're going to take some chances. I hope people understand that. They're going to take some chances, whether it's a gadget on the special teams or whether this is just they kind of have this belief, and hey, man, it may not look good, or we don't know how we're going to do it, but we'll figure it out. And this is just kind of what they do, and I think Joey and them will need to be ready for that and maybe take some chances on their own if the situation presents itself.
To me, one key difference I really think that's aided Texas Tech in maybe pulling away late or being able to all of a sudden flip a one-possession game into two or more has to do with their pair of ball carriers specifically. And I know that last week it was the defense that was providing some of that flex there at the end to kind of get that separation and run away with it. But, Chris, I think maybe a year ago when you're trying to close out some games with your ground game, as everybody in America would want to do, you didn't quite have that home run capability with it. So Taj Brooks would keep chopping wood and chopping wood and chopping wood, but it would never really turn into that buzzsaw. Whereas now you keep kind of chopping that wood, and certainly Jacoby Williams, and I'm a believer Cameron Dickey as well, are capable of all of a sudden breaking off a big play. And then it's kind of like the boulders rolling downhill. So just one little key difference. And certainly as much as I love Taj, we all know that was not necessarily a component of his game. And you wanted to get more explosive in all areas. But I think the running backs, really, if I had to drill down to kind of one thing, offensively at least, have been a spark late, big play-wise, that kind of has been missing for a little while. First, today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly feel the call of the stadium. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. And with the money you save on tickets, you can then splurge on foods, drinks, gear, and more. Gametime makes it all possible. And best of all, Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get the first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. And if you're like me, you get tired of endless scrolling trying to find the best deal, and that's why Gametime's Zone Deals is the go-to move, since it automatically picks the best seats in your section for you at the best price. And as always, you can get a view from your seat right there in the app. So before you buy, you know exactly what you're going to see. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use our code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked on College, for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets at the lowest price, guaranteed.
It's a different dynamic, certainly. You mentioned Taj Brooks. He'll be in the in the stadium on Saturday as well, and welcomed sight, and he can see what his young bucks have been doing up close and personal. I don't disagree with your premise in that we talked about how much easier it is when you are explosive and when you've got guys that can flip the field or make something of nothing. And I just what Coach Sataki was talking about a bit ago, and we've kind of known this, but you really just have so many different guys that can do this. Your two outside guys, you've got a tight end, either running back. I mean, so nobody has to carry the load like Taj did last year. And even Josh Kelly last year, he was more of a possession type as opposed to like a game breaker. He was clutch and he was third down, but not a ton after the play or after the catch, I should say.
Yeah.
And I think the way your scheme is and all that, you're going down the field to Reggie Virgil and Douglas and all those things. And I think you've had some special teams mixed into this explosiveness too. Mm-hmm. And Kenny Perry will tell you, and he said as much to the media, this is the best special teams group collectively that we have faced all year. They make plays. They don't screw a lot up. They use a lot of their starters on special teams. We have our hands full this weekend. They've got a good kicker. I mean, so there's that phase too. But because you've been able to make some hay with some returns and a block and, a 55-yard field goal. I mean, so you've been really good there a bit too. So it'll be interesting to see kind of who wins that phase, or is it just like tie? Because right now, if you just told me, hey, you'll tie that phase of the game, I'd probably be okay with it because I bet BYU will be intentional about coming in and trying to win it, and I bet they press the issue at some point in this game with something that's unscripted, whether it's a fake of some sort or whatever. You can just kind of sense that is coming, and they may feel like they need to do that. I don't know. I just have watched them too much to know that they'll feel more than comfortable about calling something and live with the results. But this is just what they do, man, and you better be ready for it.
Keep your head on a swivel.
Yes.
Nothing new. Remain as is. Stay ready. I think for the offense specifically, as I recall some of our conversations in fall camp, we had optimism about the explosiveness, but we wondered about can they be physical enough when they really need to? And for the most part, you've been punching back, and I think you have been close to it or physical enough most often when you did need to, but we may say your biggest test in that specific regard is coming up Saturday morning. So can't wait to find out how that goes, Chris. And we got another round here. We'll dive into the mailbag before we wrap up the week and get on to game day. So looking forward to it. Appreciate the time as always, and we'll see you for the next one.
Yeah, trench work, man. Both of these coaches preach the same stuff, and that's why I think you're probably like going, golly, I really want to hate this Sataki guy, but I just can't. He's a good dude. He likes all the same stuff I like, right? But yeah, it'll be a war inside on both lines of scrimmage on Saturday, and I think Joey is ready for that. We'll have his guys ready for that. This is what you built your team for a game like this. But it sure is nice to have some of those explosive playmakers as well. So anyway, but yeah, we'll I hope everybody's enjoying the week, man. Red Raiders are 1-0 on the hardwood, and we got another game coming up and mailbag time and a huge visit list as it relates to recruiting this weekend as well. Like just nuts. I had somebody text me, this is like what I'm guessing like the Blue Bloods have it like on a weekend, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, if you want to look at stars and rankings and all that stuff, so yeah, head on a swivel times 10, and every coach on campus is like, what a glorious environment we have to recruit to this weekend for whatever sport you're coaching for, and they will try to take full advantage of it. So, I mean, seriously, this is what you dream of, man. I mean, if you can have people come in to be a part of a game like this, man, you just don't know when you're going to get another one. But here it is, man, and we are just hours and a few days away.
Yeah, it's a Texas Tech open house all week and all weekend with the biggest cameras in the country coming along to document it all. So no big deal. Looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Did you ever get dragged to an open house before? Have you ever done that? I know you used to be
I've held many open houses, and my favorite ones were when no one showed up. I could just kick it.
And you don't know what were the tricks that you would use to. Did you have food? Did you light the candle? Like what would you do?
Here's a little bonus advice for you. Nothing works. Just lower the price. You don't have to overthink anything. You want to repaint a room. You want new carpet. You want me to get a sausage tray. Lower the price. Sell the house. It's just all about money. It's all it's ever about. Chris, appreciate you and appreciate everybody for being out there. Shout out to the everydayers and, of course, the Matador Mob. Hit our show notes and find a link to a free 14-day trial. If you're interested in joining that crew, that's your direct line to Chris and myself with one-on-one text sent straight to your phone. Otherwise, get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss a thing. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks as always for the time. We hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.